Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of How to Stop Sabotaging Your Money. My name is Karyn Medeiros, and I am a certified manifestation coach. Also, I am a certified quantum healer. And in this episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about money. I'm coming up to, depending on when you're watching this, we're coming up to October inside Manifest Her Society, which is my monthly membership. And every month we have a theme. And this month coming up is the theme is all about manifesting money. And so I thought this would be a great topic since we're kind of like talking all about it, bringing all the tools together on how you can manifest more money. But one of the reasons or one of the ways that you can manifest more money is figuring out how to stop sabotaging your money. Okay. So there's a couple steps that I want to go through. One of them is first is identifying your money sabotage. Okay. So when you sabotage your finances, your money, it usually comes from deeper emotions or just not knowing enough about managing money. So sometimes people will shop, right? To feel better. Retail therapy, that's a real thing. Retail therapy, it's like you go and spend money, you go and shop just to feel better, right? So you can shop just to go feel better, even though that you may not even have enough money or the money to do that. You still do that to make you feel better. You could be ignoring your bank statements because you're scared of what you might find out when you look at them, like maybe you don't have enough money, you don't have as much money as you want. And so you're sabotaging your money just by that, because those two things, what it does is it puts you in a lack of. Okay. So now you're in a lack of money, you're in a lack of state, you're in a lack of energy. That's what you're focusing on. You're focusing on, oh, I don't have enough. I'm in a lack of. And then whatever you focus on doubles, triples, quadruples. And that's what happens. So we need to focus on manifesting money instead of sabotaging our money. Okay. So we need to fix this. And the way that we do that is we need to figure out what triggers these habits of us coming into this type of energy, this type of lack, to work on building better money moves. Okay. So the way that we do that is we figure out where what are the deeper reasons of why we're even sabotaging our money. Okay. There's always usually a deeper reason why we use the money the way that we do. And it could be the reason why we use the money the way that we do is because it could be of fears, it could be of just habits that we've picked up from our families growing up, picked up from friends growing up. So an exercise that I want you to do right now, and this one, if you complete this exercise, it is going to change everything for you. I promise, I guarantee. Okay. If you really figure out what's the trigger of it so we can deal with it. There's no more putting band-aids on things because that doesn't cure anything. That doesn't make anything better. It makes it better for 5 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, a month, and then that's it. And then you go back into that same energy, that lack of energy. We don't want that. So I want you to grab a notebook and I want you to jot down some of your first memories about money. So I want you to think back to growing up with your parents. What are some common phrases that you have heard them say? Even write down some phrases that you have even said to your friends or your kids. So some common phrases might be something like, this is too expensive. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm not a bank. Like any of those where we've heard and we're like, okay. Guess what? If you have heard those things multiple times over and over again, what happens? You begin to believe them. So you begin to believe we don't have enough money, we can't afford it, that is way too expensive, that um, we shouldn't be even asking for that, right? And so w- we can change that. We just need to understand that those didn't come from us. They came from our family and that we just want to change them. So every negative thing that you have on that list, I want you to like write it as a list of all of the negative things that you're not even negative, just all of the things that you have heard people say while you're growing up about money. And then on the opposite side, so the next over here, I want you to write. So every negative thing that you've written that's negative, I want you to just change it into the positive. That's it. I want you to change it into the positive because you growing up hearing those things over and over again, you start to believe them. And then if you start saying those things over and over, well, that's what you're focusing on because you're constantly spewing out, we can't afford it. That's too expensive. Money doesn't grow on trees. We don't have that right now. So then the universe is like, "Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Don't worry. I'll make sure that all of that happens. I'll make sure that your washer breaks. So now you need more money. Like, I'll make sure that you're always in a lack of." You continue to focus on that and tell me, I'll make sure and I'll back you up, no problem. That, 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 that. That's what happens. Whatever we focus on comes back to us. So we just need to focus on the right things. That's it. So I want you to write whatever the opposite is. So whatever the opposite is just take it and write it. And then I want you to get rid of all of this. And I want you to really to release that and being like, you know what? I actually know that these are untrue. Sure, something can be expensive, but you can phrase it in a different way of like, that's not something that I want to buy. Great. That's not something that I want to buy. That's not something that I want to spend money on. I don't want to spend that much money on that. I would love to do this, but I don't want to spend that much money, right? That's even better than just saying like, "Oh, way too expensive." Because you're living in a lack of where versus if you say the other thing, that's just your opinion that you just don't want to spend money on that. It's completely different. Okay? So I want you to think about how your family dealt with money and the ideas of what maybe you picked up on from obviously growing up around them. And then this can really help you spot why you might be acting a certain way with your money now, right? So the exercise that I want you to do, so once we have figured out what those triggers are, and then once we release them of like, okay, well, I'm no longer going to feel this way. And I'm just going to feel and focus abundance. That's it. So I'm going to feel like, you know what? Maybe I don't have enough money for a bill right now, but I have money. So I'm going to focus on the abundance of what I have versus the lack, even though it may not be up to par of what you really want. Okay. Last, we're going to change up our money moves. So I want you to use the red light, green light system. So I learned this in a book. It's called The Having. It is an amazing book. I have read it like 3 times, listened to the audio. I'm not sure who the author is, but if you go onto Amazon and you just type in The Having, it is a kind of like a maroon, like a red maroon cover, and it's just called The Having. I think it's like Moons I'm not even I don't I'm gonna say like Moonsea Young or something, but obviously I have literally butchered that name. If I can find it, if I remember while I'm doing the description below, I will put the name of the book and the author in the description below. But what that book taught me was that I'm using a red light or a green light system. And I only want to spend money when it feels good. So whenever I go to the store and I want to purchase a pair of shoes, I will pick up those pair of shoes or I will look at those pair of shoes and I will ask myself, is this a red light or is this a green light? A red light means, okay, a green light, let's go with green. Green light means like it's a hell yeah, I feel good. I feel good spending the money. I feel good buying it. It's all around. I'm good. A red, if I feel like, okay, this is a red light, I feel like I shouldn't be spending my money on these shoes. I don't know if I'm gonna like them. You're literally gonna know if it's a red light or a green light. And if it's a yellow light, then that is a red light. If you're like on the edge, that's a red light, unless you somehow talk your way into it being a green light. And even the red lights where I'm like, oh man, I really wanted that, or I really wanted to do that, or whatever it was. And I was just like, oh man, I felt so good after that. I recognized it was a red light for me and it was fun and it was completely fine. And some of those red lights eventually turned into green lights where it was just like, yeah, this is amazing. So I want you to try that. I want you to try the red light, green light system. Okay. Because remember, energy out is energy in. So if we are spending money in a negative way, like not in a negative way, like that you're the way that you're spending money, but in a negative feeling. So if you're spending money and you're feeling bad about giving your money away, there is no way that that money is going to come back because whatever goes out always comes back. It's the same as karma. Everyone believes in karma. So if you do something bad or you're just like, oh, I don't want to do that, like karma, it's the same thing with good energy. So whatever is out always comes back. Okay. So especially with money. So when I spend money, I am under the assumption that when I give money away versus or whether it's like for a bill, giving it away, whatever it is. If money is leaving my hand, I'm under the assumption that that money is going to come back to me in some form and more and more. That's just the assumption that I have taught myself to do because I know that energy out is energy in and I know how it works. So if I'm in that energy that I'm giving away this money, whether I want to or not, and I know that it's actually going to come back and it's actually going to come back with even more, I am more than happy to give away that money. Make sense? Okay. Makes sense. Okay. So those are the steps. Those are the only things that I want you to do for now. If you have not completed my Spark and Surrender method, I want you to download that. It is free. I'm going to put the download link below for you to download it. It is a 3-step process it's going to help you release your blocks. So we're talking about money on here. So we're going to help you release the block. So I gave you like a really quick step in step number 1 on how to do that. But there's 3 steps that you continue to do. You're going to release, you're going to spark, and you're going to surrender. Those are the 3 steps. You do that around your money beliefs, and you will no longer hold money beliefs. Money beliefs will try and come and kind of creep in, but you will be so strong that you won't actually let them in. It's such a powerful method that I created, and it works every single time. Every time, if you get in there and do the work. So I'll put that in there in the, I want to say show notes in the description. And then Manifest Her Society is open. And so depending on when you watch this video, the next monthly theme that we're doing is manifesting money. So every month I create a theme for the members and we focus 30 days on that theme. Every single week, I create some sort of tool, task, or resource that I give to you that is geared towards the monthly theme. And so you take whatever that tool resource is and whatever it is, you use it, depending on what it is, the more that you use the tools every single week, the faster you'll get to the transformation at the end of the month. Manifestor Society is $22. That's it. And you get all of that. Plus, there is so much more. We do weekly lessons in there. I have certified manifestation coaches that are part of my team, and they also do their own lessons inside. We host it on School. It's fucking amazing, and I love it, and I love my community. So I will post that in the description as well. So that's it. All right. Well, I am off to pick my kids up from school, but I'm happy that I could come on and just quickly share this with you. Honestly, this is going to change everything for you if you actually do the work. So make sure you do the work on paper and not in your head. Okay. It does not, it is not powerful if you're just like thinking, oh, yeah, no, this is it. I want you to write it on paper. All right. So I hope that helps. Don't forget to subscribe wherever that subscribe button is, and I'll see you next week.